Hello, welcome back, everyone. This week, we are going to talk about one of my absolute favorite poses. I recommend this pose to all of my massage clients. Like, this is a staple posture that you can do in your home that's really going to help alleviate some of that tension that you feel in the upper back and shoulders. So we're going to do supported fish and supported side fish. So props that you might want to have would be a bolster and 2 blocks. If you don't have these, you can still do these poses. They'll just look a little bit different. If you don't have blocks, I would recommend towels or like cotton blankets, and that has like a little bit of firmness to it. You can use a bolster, but a bolster is pretty intense if you don't have a lot of flexibility through your upper back. So I'd probably start with maybe 2 towels, and you'll fold them. You can also use a yoga blanket. You can fold them into kind of that rectangle shape. So to begin, we're going to start with supported fish. We're going to use our 2 blocks. Again, if you don't have blocks, you're going to use blankets, and I want them to be like a long rectangle. So we're going to take our 2 blocks and we're going to stack them. So we have the lowest setting, medium setting, highest setting. So I call it baby bear, mama bear, papa bear. So baby bear is going to go underneath our upper back, and mama bear is going to go underneath our head. So we're going to lay back on these props. So I'm going to lay back so that if you can see, it's on my upper back. I like it just where the top of the block is going to come to right about my armpit. And then mama bear, that block is just going to go right underneath the back of my head. So my head can lay flat. So the back of my head is on that block. And then arms come out to the side, palms facing up. I like palm facing up because when palm is facing down, it pulls the head of our shoulder, head of our humerus forward. I don't know if you can actually see that or not, but if I'm here versus here, it's a really subtle, just kind of shift, but we tend to like roll forward. And so I like palms facing up because it just allows the pec muscle, which is right here, and the shoulder to just kind of open up a little bit more. They can be out about shoulder height. They can also be closer to your hips, which will be a little less intense. So this is supported fish. Your legs can be long. You can bend the knees, place the feet wide, and knees can fall together. Whatever feels good for you in your lower body is a great option. So we're just going to hang out here for a few moments. I want you to take a breath in and a breath out. And just let yourself kind of soften into this. So we're allowing gravity to do the work for us. So gravity is pressing down into our shoulders. Our shoulders are kind of sinking back. And because the blocks are not underneath our shoulders, it allows the shoulders to sink back. But it still allows our chest to feel supported in our back so that we can soften into it. So it's really important to have the head supported as well so that the neck does not have to engage, doesn't feel like it has to kind of keep the head lifted. We want to make sure that it can really just relax and soften, kind of melt into it. So I love this posture. I would stay here. You could stay here for a couple of minutes. When I'm doing a lot of body work, I'll do this every day for maybe 5 or 6 minutes. Just a really nice way to open up the front side of the body. So we'll take one more breath here. And exhale it out. All right, so to come off of it, I lift my hips and move them over a little bit, and then I roll to one side and press into my elbow. But just come up carefully. That's the main point of that. All right, so that's supported fish. That's going to open up the chest, the front side of the body. The other thing that I think is really important is opening up the side body. I think that there's a lot of correlation between tension through the side body, whether it's our lats or serratus anterior or our side abdominals. All of those things I think really play into tension we hold in the body. So for this, I want you to grab, again, if you have a bolster, grab a bolster. If you don't, then you might want to just take an additional blanket and place it on top. We want a little bit more height on this one. We're also going to still use one of our blocks, or again, if you don't have blocks, grab another blanket or two so that your head can be supported. So for this, we're going to bring our right hip up against, almost up against the bolster. I have maybe like a fist between the side of my leg and the side of the bolster. Then we're going to lay across it on our side. So we want our ribs to be supported by the bolster. So my ribs are across the bolster, and my shoulder, again, is going to be free of that bolster. And then I'm going to take a block, and I can choose whatever setting feels good, but I want my head to be supported. Now, if my head can come down and that feels good, does it feel like I'm too compressed, then go there. But find what feels good in your body. Okay, so I'm working to stack my body, so shoulder over shoulder. That's where I'm going to start. And then my left arm's going to reach up and over. So I'm looking to find length through the side body. So from elbow or shoulder down the rib cage all the way to the hip. Now, after you get into it, you may not feel it immediately. You're like, okay, I don't really feel a whole lot. We're going to hold it for a couple of minutes. So it's okay if you don't feel a lot of intensity. If you need a little bit more, that's when you're going to adjust your block so that your head's a little bit lower. You might try taking your top leg and letting it kind of move away from you. So right now my knees are kind of pulled in. So my top leg maybe pulls down. That's going to, again, create some more space through this side body, which is what we're looking for. If this is too much on your shoulder, you can definitely still bring it forward. So it takes a little bit of the pressure out of the shoulder. If you have a shoulder injury, do that, because you're still going to get the stretch through that side body by maybe extending that leg or moving it back behind you a little bit. So we're working to find a stretch through that side body. So feel free to play around. So maybe taking that top leg, you can go back a little bit. Maybe a cat comes and walks on you, but we're breathing into that side body. So I call this supported side fish. We're getting into the side body. And close your eyes and take a few breaths and soften your body. You don't have to stay active in this. You can let the arms soften. Take a few breaths. Again, our body is supported by the bolster, by the earth, by the block underneath our head. So really our body should be able to soften quite a bit. Again, you can stay here for several minutes. Just breathing into that side body. We'll take one more breath. And then we'll start by releasing the shoulder. And then we'll slowly pull ourselves up. And we'll switch to the other side. So I'm going to face away from you just so you can see the back side of it. So I'm going to pull, this time my left hip is against the bolster. I'm going to lay with my ribs across the bolster. And if you find that maybe you don't have a long enough torso, you can put something underneath your hips. Like if you need a blanket, if your hips are not securely on the ground. But I want the shoulder to be free. So we're kind of folding over this prop so that we get a little bit of stretch in both directions. And then this time the right arm is going to reach up and over. Again, you're going to have to move a little bit, working to maybe stack the shoulders. Maybe you need to kind of roll back just a little bit. Maybe this bottom leg needs to extend or come back behind you a little bit. Maybe it needs to come up a little bit more. You can play around with it. On a scale of 1 to 10, I like to tell people about a 6 or 7 on intensity, because we're staying here for a little bit and we don't want the body to brace. We want to be able to really soften into it. So once you find that position, go ahead and take a deep breath, let the body soften, kind of melt into the props. See if there's anywhere in the body that maybe doesn't need to be engaging. Noticing if anything is starting to try and grip to protect, which means you need to support the body a little bit more. And just breathe into that space. Long breath in, long breath out. Again, you could stay here for several minutes, 5, 6 minutes, whatever feels good. Take one more breath here. And then to come out of this, we're going to release the shoulder first. We're going to plant the hand onto the bolster and then slowly bring ourselves up. All right. Those are the 3 postures that I wanted to show you today. So again, supported fish and supported side fish. So try those out at home. If you have questions or comments, drop it below, and I will see you guys next week.